Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and this is going to be a What a Day post. I'm going to explain this ice on my hand momentarily. So, as many of y'all know who follow a lot of the stuff that I post, that Fridays are my Mondays, which of course means it's the start of my work week. So, I went into work this morning. And before I even got there, since y'all know I got my day off, which was Thursday after working 6 days, got my day off, and I had plans to do my hair. I'm gonna get into that later too. So, I had done like 75% of my hair, and then I put on one of my multifunctional headbands. It was this. I had this one because you can put it all sorts of ways. I had a red one on and all of that. So, anyway, so I was running a couple of minutes late for work, so I didn't have enough time to retrieve my items that I usually have with me when I'm upstairs in my department. So, what I do is if I'm running late, I will make a point to just hightail it to the meeting. When the meeting is over, I tell my partner, I'm gonna go get my stuff and I'll be right back. He understands, he already know what it is because they will fire you after you accumulate too many occurrences. They equal up to the amount that they're supposed to do, you know, their assessment and say, all right, now they done did the most, they gotta go. So I don't have that many occurrences. I'm about to incur two, which don't really matter because for this year, I think if I have any, I might have one or two. And I think the most you can have is 8, 9, or 10. So whatever. So after the meeting was over with, I told him I'm about to go get my stuff. Cool. So I go out the door. I'm talking about less than 30 seconds later. This woman who used to work on my shift, who works in the new department now, she was like, "Hey, Blenda, how you doing?" And I turned around and I knew it was her because nobody else around that sounds like her. She's this beautiful Spanish. I don't know if she's mixed, but you can tell that she is, she has Spanish, some kind of Spanish um, uh, uh, heritage going on. But she is everything. So, I was like, hey, I turned around, looked at her. We had a moment or two where we were talking as we were walking up the floor. And she was like, girl, I'm hot already. I said, me too. So, we had our little back and forth, talked, whatever. So I retrieved my things, went upstairs, started working. Got upstairs, all hell is breaking loose. I don't understand why. I'm talking about we hadn't even been up there yet. Like it really wasn't even time for us to start yet. But I'm going and clearing stuff, and I'm just like, what is going on? It had gotten to a point that my partner and I crossed paths because, like I've told y'all before, usually when he and I are paired up, he does the order. We have paperwork that we're supposed to do that somebody comes and gets, and they retrieve different things that we need throughout the day. So he normally fills that paperwork out. And so in between him doing the paperwork, he gotta go catch stuff. Like it's just so much stuff going on that it's like I can't possibly be in 5, 6, 7, 8 places at once because that's how hectic it is. So we start crossing paths. I said, why all this stuff popping off like this? He was like, I don't know. But it was very frustrating. So we had like a little break in it, and he's able to finally like figure out what he want to do. So I walked up to him. I said, are you all right? He said, I said, are you all right? He was like, yeah, I'm good. I said, oh, okay, cool. So it starts setting it off again, but on my side. So I'm literally running back and forth to get stuff. And in my department, we have specific parts where you have to be fast. It is fast paced. You got to be on it. Like if you're going to be over there, you need to be on it. And they can tell if you're trash and they put you over there and they don't really want you to be over there like that. That's why they prefer myself, my partner, and they used to prefer the married man who got divorced because all three of us, we were like the goats, if you will, when it comes to our shift. But as I've already told y'all before, he no longer does that particular job anymore, y'all. Anyway, so I'm going back and forth. I be doggone. I'm going from one of the high priority parts of the area that I'm in, from clearing something that was going on to go to another part. Y'all tripped on a safety rug that they actually had a super long rug, and it was so long that they cut it in half and they just sat them up there. And because it wasn't a rug that had been like where it kind of like tapers off as it gets to the end, it's just literally like an inch or a half an inch raised up off the ground, right? I usually walk over it, can step over it, whatever. I'm walking fast today. Y'all end up falling, tripped, fell hard. So when I fell, I hit my knee. I felt my knee, like it didn't hurt. That was the thing about it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I fell. And I ain't think nothing of it until I got up. So my partner sees me as I'm falling, and he's far enough away from me to where he too far away to be like, dang, let me help you get up. By the time I was already getting up. So you know how you have a moment where you have to realize that something just happened to you? That's what I was experiencing in that moment. I was like, dang, I just feel that's crazy. So I done got up off the ground, and he was like, are you all right? I was like, I think so. So when I get up and get to my feet, this hand, which when you fall, usually out of a, normal reaction, you want to kind of break your own fall. So that's what I did. So let me use this hand, because this isn't the hand that's hurt. Fell like this. All I know is it's like this finger, it's like when it hit the ground, it's like I did this, and this particular finger went back. I don't know if I kind of went to the side a little bit, but hand straight on the ground, and I just like, and I could tell that this went back, but in my mind, I was like, am I breaking my hand? I'm weird, y'all. I was kind of like, am I breaking my finger? But there's no pain in my finger. I can move my fingers, whatever. So I'm like, okay. So like I said, I done got up. The only thing I really was worried about at that time was, I already know more than likely I'm a bruise later, because I bruise easily. So I ended up saying to myself, dang, did I hurt my knee? Like, because I have terrible knees. That's what I'm worried about. My knee still don't hurt, y'all. I ain't rubbed it. I ain't done nothing. So I'm like, okay. But I done stood up. As soon as I stand up, I start feeling this pain. So I'm saying to myself, okay, I don't know what's going on. Lord, please don't let nothing be broken. But like I said, I could tell, like, my fingers, I can move my fingers. I can move all of my fingers. But there's just this interesting pain that's right here. So it wasn't like radiating or throbbing or hot or anything in that moment. So my partner rolled up on me again, and he was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm not sure, but I'm really scared to even try to move my hand. So I just, out of instinct, I just started like really like rubbing my hand, even though it was like hurting right here. So I'm rubbing my hand, and then stuff still popping off. But I was just like, let me slow all the way down. It's going to happen when it happens. And so like, he was like, what happened? And I told him. He was like, man, forget all that stuff. Don't be trying to kill yourself to get to that stuff. And then I kind of laughed a little bit. But yeah, it was crazy. So this whole time he was waiting on me after I told him that this was, kind of hurting. I'm over here. I just sat up here and got a jack finna go to work. I told y'all I be doing absolute most at work, and that's why I lose weight. So he went and got a jack, and I got a jack. He was like, so are you going to go get any ice? I said, yeah, I'm going to go get some when I go on break. My break is 2 hours from the time that the accident happened, which was an hour into the shift. I take my first break 3 hours into the shift. So he was like, when you going to wait till you go on break? I was like, yeah, I'm going to wait till I go on break. He was like, do you think you're going to make it till break? So I just started thinking about it, and I was just like, I guess I'll go get some ice or whatever. And while I'm down there, I'm going to try to see if I can find some gauze, because my hand, I can't really describe I can't describe it. I know it's hurting, but I feel like if I try to lift anything or to really use my hand, it ain't gonna work because I have to, like, I have to, and this is my dominant hand on top of that. So I was like, I don't trust myself. I kept telling him, I don't trust myself to do anything. And the bulk of what I do is me lifting things. I have to, like, I had to put weight on and in my hand. So it's like, I was like, all right, I'll be back. I'm gonna go get some ice. So went downstairs, looked in one of the little first aid, kits on the wall on the way out, trying to see if they had any gauze. And typically at that place, more than like most of the time, they just have for us in there. They just have like certain size bandages, antibiotic, um, creams, and gels and little stuff like that. And that's it. Alcohol swabs. Alcohol pads. That's it. But I was like, oh, let me see, because sometimes they, restock and put little things in there. But we have an actual first aid room where we have a live, real nurse that's in there for like 2-3 hours in a day. And then she actually goes to the doctor's office or the hospital that she works at. So I end up going to the staffing office and I asked them if she had any, gauze in her office. And she was like, no. And so she didn't know why I was asking. She was like, so you need some for real? I was like, yeah. So she was like, all right, let me try to call somebody. She tried to call whoever, like the main person who was like the most experienced, and they weren't available. They didn't, pick up. So she was like, let me find somebody. So I was like, okay. So she was like, what's going on? You all right? I told her what happened. She was like, okay. So all of a sudden, my supervisor, another person that is a supervisor but does not supervise anybody in any of the, like, he don't supervise nobody doing nothing that I do. But I see him all the time. He's the supervisor that got into it with the side heifer when he told her that she was coming into the wrong side, the wrong way, and he caught on that she was sitting up here riding the clock instead of clocking out when she was going on her breaks and leaving off of the premises. So yeah, he came. My supervisor, him and my supervisor seem to be cool. They're going breaks together and all this other stuff. So the two of them just so happened to be together, and the other person who was basically in charge of, I guess you could say the person who was going to check me out. He's a maintenance person, but if you take the training courses and all the stuff you need to do to be certified, whoever gets there first has to do, the paperwork. So this particular person is a maintenance person. A lot of maintenance people get it. So he ended up coming. This man was really, really nice. But my supervisor saw me too. So he was like, hey, Belinda, what's going on? So I told him. He came in there. He was going to have to come in there anyway and do his own report and all this. He was like, oh, no, I'm down here anyway. I got to write this up. Because I told him, oh, I'm just down here getting some ice, and I want to see if y'all had any gauze so I could wrap my hand up. And I told him what happened. He was like, oh no, we got to write this up. So I said, okay, cool. Get in the office. I tell him what all happens and what has happened. And they want to know what my pain levels are. At the time, it was like an 8 or a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. So I don't know why, but for some reason, when I initially had the ice, I had the ice like this, and my hand was elevated. The person wanted me to transition the ice that I had from what I had it in to a specific Ziploc bag, and then he wrapped it in a paper towel and sat it on the desk, and I had to then sit my hand like this with it like wedged in. This is a reusable one, so I can't do that great of a description, but you kind of make like a little groove in it and sit it in there. When I tell y'all my hand started hurting for real, then like my hand wasn't even hurting like that, and I feel like it was because my hand wasn't oh no, this ice done punctured my little bag. That's okay though, I have more. Or it's trying to puncture it. Dang. I like these little reusable bags. Anyway, so I told him that that's what was going on. And so he was like, oh, well, if you're more comfortable holding it up, then that's fine. And I was like, okay, cool. So anyway, they ended up doing all their little tests and wanting to know, if I can move certain digits and, what the pain level was, all of that. And it was just so much stuff that they had to. Y'all, I done radioed up to my coworker telling him I'm about to fill out some paperwork. I'll be up there maybe in like the next 15 minutes. Lies. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta work over today. I'm talking about before the paperwork even started. I said that man was like, yeah, you probably won't be doing that today. You might not even have to worry about that today. You probably won't be worrying about that today. And I was like, y'all, after everything was said and done, I went home like 2.5 hours after my shift started. Y'all, I was so through. Now, I ain't mad at it because I'ma still get a decent check because I worked over every day except every day that I worked over except one day. So yeah, I'm essentially getting at least my normal check. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I should have took a nap earlier because when I got home, I ended up getting home. When I got home, first of all, when I left out, I couldn't do nothing with this side. I couldn't do nothing. Couldn't hold my car key. Couldn't do nothing. Couldn't open my door. This is my dominant hand. I use this hand for everything. So I'm like, dang. It was crazy how I got in the car. Like the way I had to put the key in the ignition and turn it and drive. Like I'm used to driving one hand, but 99% of the time it's this hand. So I'm like, got to the house. I had to carefully go up the steps. I just don't like being out when it's like super dark and by myself. And now I'm, at a disadvantage because this hand was towed all the way down super early this morning. So luckily, didn't have no kind of situation to pop off because I was by myself and, I wouldn't have been able to use my self-defense things because I probably would have been halfway dead trying to get the top to move. Use any of my little pepper spray. Anyway, before I left, they told me, they wanted to know how far away I lived from the job. I told them, and since it wasn't too far to them, I guess because gas is high, they were like, okay, we need you to come back up here between 7 and 9 so that the nurse can check you out. She wants to do some physical therapy. I said, okay. So, I didn't ask what that entailed. I was just like, I'm going to do what those people tell me to do. Excuse me, because I don't feel like anything is broken and I'm going to be good. But y'all, my hand was so swollen. I mean, at first I couldn't tell. Then I ended up looking at my hands. I was like, oh my gosh. Like this hand was so swollen right here. It was so swollen. They wanted to know if I had any bruising and I didn't. This is from something I did to myself, so that ain't got nothing to do with it. That was something random that happened. I had touched something at work or something and bit me, and I just scratched it and I did the most. That's what that is. That ain't got nothing to do with what just happened. Because the impact was like all up and through here. So that's why this part hurts above my pinky. Y'all, I ended up coming back. And while I was at the house, since the first person I talked to told me, you've iced it enough while you were here and we watched you ice it on and off. Now don't apply any more ice. Just soak it on and off in hot water. I told him I was going to do Epsom salt. He was like, yeah, that's even better. So he said, do that on and off until the water kind of cool off, whatever. I said, okay, cool. So that's what I was doing. Get back up there to my job. And I thought that the person just wanted me to be there like no later than 9. I didn't know it was because she's only there for 2 hours and then she goes to the hospital or to the doctor's office. So I got there on purpose like 10 till 9 because I was just like, girl, I don't even really want to be here. Like, what are y'all gonna really do? So, she was talking to me. Somebody else was there. Something had popped off with them. Y'all, a whole other situation popped off. But before I even get into that, let me tell y'all what happened with me. So after she was done talking to the person who was actually on the clock working, something had popped off to the point where she had to close the door and talk to them and discuss whatever happened. People keep telling me that the person who I was supposed to see wasn't there, and I don't know why it wasn't registering that they were saying that they were in the emergency room with someone. So I was like, oh, okay. Like I kept thinking that they were saying that they were in another part of the building in a specific room, because we have so many different rooms there that have nothing to do with the part of the building that I work in, that I'm thinking they're talking about they're in some random room, some random office, whatever. Child, they go in there. I end up going in there with the woman who was the actual nurse that's usually there just for the 2 hours. And, she's telling me all the stuff I need to do and asking me what my pain level is, just like everybody asked hours prior. And she needed to see me, move. She asked me to do on my fingers, asked me if I could do this, and all of this. And I told her, yeah, I could do all of that. The pain level is down just a little bit, but, the swelling is still a little bit, of pain. And I just needed to know, like, what do I need to do as far as not coming in tonight, because I already can tell I'm not going to be able to do nothing. Because, like I said before, my job mainly entails me dealing with lifting, pulling. Like, I have to apply pressure. I got to do the most. And even if it's not even that much, like at that time, I couldn't even write. I don't even know if I can write now. But I couldn't even write nothing. So that night, early this morning, when there were parts of the paperwork that I had to sign, they had to create a signature line for me and put like down there that the employee was unable to sign. My supervisor had to sign it for me in the original spot, and I had to initial with my left hand, which I cannot write with at all. And I'm just like, oh my God, it was so terrible, y'all. Like I didn't even realize how bad my hand was hurting until, like I told y'all, when I ended up having to like sit my hand down like this on the ice. It just was hurting so bad. I didn't even realize I was crying. So I just started kind of like doing like this. Like I just was doing this, and then the person who was with my supervisor, he had gotten some paper towels, some napkins or whatever for me, and he handed them to me. And I had to realize he was handing it to me. I was like, oh, thank you. I'm like crying a little bit, y'all. I had to keep dabbing my eyes. Like it was hurting. I didn't even realize. I was like, dang, my hand hurting all of a sudden. Like it was bad. So anyway, like I said, I had to go back later to do the therapy. So I did all this stuff. She was just telling me the medication. She asked me, do you take any everything I said to her, she was just so like thrown off, but in an amazing type of way, like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need to hear. So she was like, are you on any medications? I said no, because I don't take medications. Like everything she was asking me, she was like, oh my God, yeah. Then she was telling me the stuff I need to do. I was like, oh, I already was doing that. She was like, well, sometimes you need to rub your hands. And like, I'm glad that the one thing that I wanted to ask her, I asked her, because if I hadn't have asked her, I would have went and got this stuff and would have been in trouble. So I asked her, I said, because she started rushing because she was about to be late. She was like, well, I got to go. Everything seems to check out. You just need to keep icing it. Keep a close eye on it for the next 48 hours. It might take you a couple of days to maybe like a couple of weeks tops to be all the way back 100%. But, it'll be up to you as to how fast everything heals, whatever, right? So I was like, okay, so I have a question. Do you recommend that I buy a splint, a stent, whatever it is I said? I think I said stent on accident. She was like, yeah, splint? I was like, yeah. So she was like, no, definitely don't do that. And I was like, oh, well, I thought that I needed to do that because that's why I came initially, to find some gauze so that I could hopefully stabilize it so that even if I'm hurting, I could still kind of lift and it's less pain. She was like, no, that's a terrible idea. You need to be moving as much as you can, keep that range of motion going and all of that, because if you don't, you're going to become stiff and it's never going to do and heal the way it needs to heal. So, and it makes perfect sense. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm so glad that I asked her that, because I really was about to go to the store and load up on all kinds of stuff. I was going to buy me a little hand brace, all of that. I was going to do the absolute most, y'all. But I ended up going to the store and I bought these mini gel caps of Aleve or whatever, ibuprofen, somebody, gel caps, because pills get stuck in my throat. Even the normal size one. So I ended up buying the minis. I didn't even know there was a such because I do not deal with medication. Only bought this because of this, because the pain was like excruciating. And even though meds don't really do nothing for me like that, I was just like, hopefully it'll at least help with the swelling. So I took all the meds that I can take for today. And it's not as bad right now. So I'm just icing it on and off. I had already soaked it in Epsom salt before I got back to work. Y'all, tell me why I was there and I was waiting. Before I even got there, I had gotten a text message. And the guy I told y'all about before, he gonna text me, tell me somebody cut their finger off. Who cut their finger? He was like, it wasn't you, was it? Because he had randomly asked me about work. He was like, what else do y'all need for y'all department? I was like, I'm not at work. And he was like, what? What you mean you're not at work? He was like, why not? I said, I hurt myself. He was like, what? So then I explained to him what happened. He was like, dang, that's messed up. So then all of a sudden, I didn't even know I had the message notification, because sometimes I'll turn my volume down to vibrate. And so unless I have it turned up and I have a Bluetooth in, I'm not going to know somebody called me, because I'm not constantly on my phone checking my phone like that. So he had texted me like 7:30 or something like that, and was like, and started talking about somebody's finger being cut. I was like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about something recent, or are you talking about something that happened a while back? Because I mentioned to him that somebody in particular did cut his hand, because he went to help somebody else who was in distress, even though he knew the rules, and he ended up tearing his own self up. Like, that man was out of work for months. It was bad. And so he was like, no, somebody just did it today. I was like, what? Child, we too short-staffed. We too short-staffed. And like, one of the first things I said before they even did the paperwork was, this is the worst time this could have happened. Like, we short-staffed and they need bodies. I was supposed to pull 12s today. I already knew I was going to work 12s. Before I even came in here and saw a schedule, I already knew all this week I'm going to be pulling 12s. Child, tell me why somebody else kept walking by talking about it. And I'm like, who are they talking about? Saw this person that used to work in my department who now works in the new department. And he was just talking to somebody because somebody had asked him about it and wanted to know were they operational or were they cleaning still, like what was going on, to sterilize and do whatever they need to do. He starts coming my way and he speak to me, and I said, who was the person that cut their finger and how did it happen? So I'm wondering if it's somebody I know. I'm saying to myself, it probably ain't nobody I know. It was the woman who I just spoke to when I first came in this morning, right after I left my meeting. This woman has young kids and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, the dude didn't even know who she was. He was like, oh, I think her name is this. I was like, and I just talked to her. So what had happened was she had like some paper towels fell somewhere. And she reached down into some hole to retrieve them. And like there was some gears or a track or something. And it caught her hand and it just drug it. And it took off at least one finger. And I was like, oh God, no. So yeah, the person who they kept telling me I was gonna meet with this morning didn't meet with me because she was at the hospital with her. So yeah, that's what happened today. They had to pull somebody to help my partner. Y'all, when I came back up there, some told me to look at the schedule. So when that man was in the office talking to the woman, I was like, let me take a peek at this schedule, see what they got on there. Because I felt like they hadn't changed nothing. Man, as soon as they found out that I was hurt, they took my name. They took my name up off of there, like off of where I was supposed to work, and they put it in the like questionable column, I guess you could say, because you don't know what it's gonna be hidden for. And all I saw was, it was so bad. It's like in every department almost, it was like Somebody staying over from the previous shift and the person that's on my shift. And people, I know everybody gonna be mad who gotta work over, because I am third from the top. I'm gonna be second from the top starting Sunday. Okay, so my partner goes down to the bottom of the rotation list on Sunday. I don't know if my partner got his 7th day off or his 60 hours and then whatever. I don't know, because I'm not working tomorrow, and which is Saturday, I'm not working Sunday. The person who is going to be at the top of the rotation list took off for Saturday and Sunday, I think. I don't remember. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy up in there. I saw the schedule. They gonna be mad because it had been myself, my partner, and that guy. And right now it's my partner and these 2 ladies. The both of them, well, really all 3 of them are actually supposed to be off on Saturdays and Sundays because my partner got his schedule changed. They are all required to work this weekend. And they were required to work before that, with the exception of one of them. But because I'm out, and because the other person was going to be out because his child graduated from school, they got drafted. Oh man, it's rough up in there. I looked at that schedule. I saw so many names. I'm like, who is that? Who is these people? I don't even know who these people are, child. I don't know what's going on, but I said, oh well. I took off Saturday and Sunday, so they better hope that I'm in fighting condition Monday, because if not, I will call out again, because I have several. I have enough. I have more than enough time to call out if I need to. If my hand ain't ready, I'm not going. I'm not going to overexert nothing. I'm sorry. And then I was already told that there might be people who would call me. So the woman who had been in the hospital with the person whose hand got caught, she ended up calling me. And, I did inquire about the woman, and she said she's doing okay. And we had a little moment. We were talking about that. She seemed cool when we were talking. So she wanted to know how I was doing, how the pain level was, all that stuff. And then after I clearly told her, the person that I spoke with, she told me not to do anything as far as calling out is concerned until after I talked to you. So she was like, oh, okay. So, maybe I can find you. I mean, do you want me to find you some light duty stuff to do? I was like, that's not going to work, because I'm supposed to do something in particular for 12 hours. So that's not going to be possible for y'all just to have a body in there, and I'm not going to be able to do what y'all need somebody to stay over to do. That's not going to work. Like I was just like, y'all doing the most. I'm not going to be able to, I literally could, when I tell y'all the pain was so bad. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do nothing except sit down or stand in place. There's nothing that I can do with just one hand up in there. I'm sorry. And then my non-dominant hand ain't nothing for me to do. I don't know what y'all thought I was going to do. Nothing. I would have gladly came in there and went to sleep. If that's what y'all want me to do, I would have gladly went in there and went to sleep. But I was like, yeah, I'm not going to come tomorrow. And I didn't tell her I'm not coming Sunday, but I'm not. I already called off for Saturday and Sunday. It is what it is. Now, what's going to happen is which I believe I will be, if I am able to go back to work on Monday, my 7th day is going to fall on Sunday. If everything goes according to plan, I might be able to be off, because as I've already told y'all before, that's Juneteenth. And all of a sudden this year, my job wants to recognize it as a holiday at my job, when they were never doing it before. And I'm like, y'all switching out one holiday for that. Why? I was fine just using one of my vacation days for that every year, because I've been celebrating Juneteenth for almost the last 20 years. So I'm just like, I'm cool with that. Y'all can do what y'all do, because when I tell y'all, I was the only one on my shift that took off last year when Juneteenth came around. I put in for that a month in advance, because I thought a lot of other black people was gonna set it off, and they didn't. I was like, oh, Because I looked at the schedule, I was like, oh, ain't nobody call up, ain't nobody, not call up, ain't nobody requested to be off but me. Oh, okay. But you do what you do. It just is what it is. I just thought that there would be a handful of us that we're gonna call out or put in a vacation day or whatever for that date, but they didn't. But this year it's Juneteenth and Father's Day, and I am a daddy's girl. I live for my daddy, and I'm just like, if all goes according to plan, I'll be off because that will be my 7th day. I hope that there will be several people who don't care nothing about it, because most people I know don't deal with their daddy for one reason or another, like, which is sad. But I want to have my 7th day off. So from the way that I can calculate it right now, I know that they probably gonna work the mule out of me once I get back. 12s like crazy. I will be lucky if I get one day where I only am working my shift, which is only 8 hours. But I'm gonna probably be able to be off 2 Sundays in a row, more than likely, because they do have a right to reject it if they don't have enough bodies in the building. But it's kind of gonna be a you better figure it out type situation, because what you're not finna do is re-injure nothing over here. Anyway, y'all, I done bored y'all enough. I wasn't trying to talk all that time, but it was a lot. I ain't never been hurt I've had things that happen to me on the job before, but I don't remember it being like this. This is crazy, because I normally work, child. I was just like, what is going on here? But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for listening. I'm okay. Believe it or not, I actually had locks, and then I cut them out because I wanted some for protective style. And as a part of my therapy with this on again, off again with the ice, I might do something. I don't know what yet, though. I'm tired, as you can see by my eyes getting really, really low. I don't know if y'all hear the raspiness, but I can hear it. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to do anything tonight, because I'm still debating on if I'm going to wash my hair again or what. Because, I mean, I had some of that product that I told y'all about in my hair from the dollar. Oh, I'm scared. Wait a minute. Oh, hold up. Don't pay attention to that. But the Dollar Curl Club. So I had some of that in there. Not this particular product, but it was one of my twisting, hair twisting situations, creams that I had put on there, because like I told y'all before, I moisturize my actual hair, and instead of just letting it go on there dry whenever I'm braiding, twisting, or whatever. So that's what I did. Every single part I did, I put completely saturated it and did all that. Y'all saw the curls in that video. Y'all saw what it was hitting for. Y'all saw it. But anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna go somewhere and sit down. I'm gonna keep on watching Breaking Bad. I'm wondering if I'm almost done, because the most popped off. I'm like season 5 episode. I don't know if this say 13. Let me see what's going on here. Excuse me. 15. Season 5 episode 15. I haven't watched Stranger Things yet. I should have been watching it this entire time, but I had no idea that I was going to end up taking off for 2 days. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for bearing with me. I am at some point going to watch Sisters and put the recap review up of that, probably after I've actually done something to my hair, if I do anything. But anyway, y'all be safe out there. I miss y'all. Pray for me. Bye.